Hey everybody, Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gamingtrend.com. Nintendo has finally launched the Nintendo Switch 2, and while they were hard to get in the beginning, retailers have begun to restock, and you might be able to get your hands on a console. What you'll probably struggle with are the accessories. Today we're going to take a look at the entire lineup from JSAUX. So without further ado, we've got a whole lot of homework to do. Given how difficult it was to get your hands on these and the price, let's be honest, protecting it's kind of important. So I've split these up into kind of protection for the case, and then we have a docking station and a screen protector. So we're going to apply the screen protector, we're going to hook up the docking station and take a look at what features it has, and then I'm going to run you through the cases that JSAUX has to offer. First we'll get the screen protector on. The Switch 2 has a pretty solid screen protector already on it, but a little extra armor doesn't hurt. I'll be straight with you. I'm sure this is an amazing application system that works remarkably well. This is not my forte. I'm gonna hand this to the missus and have her apply it. But I will point out they're not just sending you the protector, they're actually sending you, here's some wipes, here's instructions, here's the actual plates. It looks like they might, yeah, so you're gonna put one side on and peel the other side and put the other side on. So it's a pretty solid plate too. That feels pretty remarkably strong, and they do include two. So if you were to botch the install or need to replace it, you do have two. I know where my strengths lie, so we're gonna set this aside. I'll let the missus handle that one. All right, something I can handle, on the other hand, is this. So this is a cover case that acts as a shell for the system. I have neuropathy in my hands, so I tend to drop things a lot. And so these kind of shells are actually important to me. You don't necessarily have to have neuropathy, of course, but these just provide an extra layer of protection. As you can see, it's like an acrylic top and like a rubberized, well, not rubberized, but a molded plastic for the bottom. So let's go ahead and put this on and see how easy it is to apply. Like the rest of them, they do have some instructions. This should be pretty straightforward though. You should simply just click onto it, which is what it says. I do love the new mechanism for applying these. The super strong magnets, the little latch to get them on and off. Big props to Nintendo for that. So I think, unless I'm mistaken, this has like a hinge system. There we go. So there we go. Comes off in two pieces. You lay the controller in and then simply latch this on top and snap it in place. And just like that, I now have a fully protected controller, and does not impede the mouse capabilities, and you still can reach the buttons pretty easily. So we'll go ahead and apply this other one as well. Yeah, I was curious how they were going to get around all these buttons, like the little latch to release. There's a lot of things to kind of take into account, but clearly they've designed to get this just right. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. These guys have been doing accessories like this for generations, so no surprise at all when I really think about it. That's pretty easy. All right, let's get the last piece. That's going to be the clamshell piece. This is going to go around the back of the device. As soon as I can figure out where the edge is to get this off. So before you think, oh my, this is a lot of weight to add, this weighs almost nothing. This little clear case is just going to provide some armor for the back of the system, and will still allow the kickstand system to work. Just as before, this kind of just clicks in place and it finishes off that full armor plate all the way around. You still have access to all of your ports, and you still have access to headphone jack, power button, etc. Everything's reachable. So there we go. That seems like that's a worthwhile investment. That'll keep things from getting scratched up. Set this aside and pull out the next one. This is a shock absorbent storage case. Now these cases are not meant to be additive. Like, we're not going to end up putting 3 different cases on. We're going to swap through a few of these. You'll have to decide based off of your use case, do I throw this in my bag and there's a chance of it getting damaged, or is it in something that's potentially going to get dropped? You'll have to decide for yourself what is the appropriate level of protection. This is certainly armor for this thing. So it's meant to hold the system itself, just like that. It's a giant clamshell to latch it closed. So if you're throwing it in your bag, that seems like a pretty secure way of doing it. Now I am curious if I can actually combine it. So let's see. Let's go ahead and put these together. I'll move this stuff out of the way so you can see better. I am curious if I can put these two together and have this in the stand, or in the armor. That side? No, it looks like it's just slightly too big, so can't combine those two. So give me a second, I'm going to peel off the armor here, and then we'll keep going. Armor's off once again. Take note of where these notches are. This is the system that releases the Joy-Cons. There's a small notch in this case. We'll put it in here. Look at it another way. The bottom edge goes towards the latch, and the hinges are towards the top. Closes nice and easy. Latches to be safe. Completely armored. Awesome. So let's pull this out and we'll take a look at the next case. Before we move on, I did neglect to mention there's also this little carrying strap. It's a nice semi-flexible kind of paracord, if you will, sort of thing on a D-ring, and you simply run this through through this part of the system, and then run this through the loop, and you now have a way to carry it as well. Alright, now on to the next case. This is also a portable carrying case. This is where you might want to maybe have a softer case for your system, maybe a little bit more room. Obviously you don't have any carrying space for things like any sort of games, so you have only what's installed, and maybe you're still the type like me that prefers physical media. So now you have this. So it is obviously a softer case. It says JSAUX right there. I like these. These pulls have like a grippy surface to them, and the zipper, look, kind of disappears into the edge, which ensures that nothing gets caught in the teeth. And as you can see, we have lots of space in here. Pull the desiccant. That's going to keep your system safe. We have another little latch here. I'm not sure what that's for. Look it up in the instructions. Or not. That's the warranty. Alright. It's for us to figure out. It's a mystery. Alright, so here we have an area where you can put in your various carts. So if you have game cards, they can go in there safely. Your system is going to sit right here, I would think. There we go, this soft piece sitting on top of the screen, that holding it in place, and it's zipping closed. Nice and safe. It's got that rubberized handle on top. It's a really good looking case. Obviously there's also a carry strap. This has 2 rings on it, so you can put it here and here and carry it almost purse style or messenger bag style. I'm still not sure what this is for, but you have it, and that's important. Back inside the case, all of the material is soft, extraordinarily soft. And you have a small pouch here where you can store things like a USB charging cable or your power brick. Those kind of things can store in here, keep them safe and off of your screen. Even this is kind of that velour type, really soft material. Nothing in here is going to scratch your screen with or without a screen protector. So we'll set this one aside and we'll pull out the last carrying case. This one is probably going to be very similar, but if you want a pop of color. Obviously that's going to be rather understated. This is going to be a thinner case, but with what can only be described as official Nintendo colors. A kind of bright blue with the orange stripe through the center, and then there is another variant of this that is the inverse, so it has an orange surface with that blue stripe edge for the pull tabs and the zipper itself. Opening it up, we see a similar thing, maybe not quite as much room, and it doesn't have that double fold over, but it is still that lovely kind of velour, super soft material. This uses a flexible, what am I thinking here? Little straps, these little flexible straps. We'll go with that. This goes in place like so. Yeah, and then close that. That'll keep it in place. Shut, sealed, ready to go. You lose the carrying messenger bag style straps, and you lose a little bit of room, but this is certainly slimmer and it's a little bit lighter. Really up to you what kind of case you prefer. Everything goes with black, but that is very Nintendo. The last item is more about expanding the capabilities of the Switch 2. Now the Switch 2 has a lot more power than the original Switch, and that's allowing it to do things like 4K output. This is a 12-in-1 docking station from JSAUX. Now I already have something very similar to this for my Steam Deck. This is pretty much how I connect everything to that Steam Deck, rather than trying to pull it out and use the actual ports, or trying to fight with having one USB port to have both a keyboard and a mouse. And this right here makes all of that possible. So here we have a really simple dock. It doesn't look like much, but it has a lot of capabilities. So we have a 5 gig Ethernet port, display port out, 2 USB ports, 2 USB-C ports. There's your audio jack, 2 USB-A, another USB-C. One of these is going to be used for power. Connectivity from the system to this. And then you have SD cards and micro SD cards. So just like that, you've now expanded your ability to hook up your Switch without needing the dock. Don't know why, but Nintendo chose to restrict the system significantly, and this bypasses that. This allows me to have everything all hooked up and ready to go. I plug in my Switch 2 and it all springs to life. So this is probably a great alternative to having the big Switch dock sitting out. It's certainly cheaper. Wow, is Nintendo proud of that dock. But this at least gives you a different opportunity to keep everything connected at the same time, and with a single cable, bring it all to life. I didn't want to leave you hanging on the price, so I brought up the price as of right now. Looks like there's a bit of a sale going on. The Switch 2 protective case, which is going to be this one, is currently on sale for $12.99. The carrying case for the Switch 2, which I honestly thought this would be way more expensive, $22.99. The screen protectors, this 2-pack, is $7.99. This ergonomic invisible case is $19.99. And it looks like this case is just $21.99. Looks like the dock is $59.99. So that's just extraordinarily cheap. I would have expected all of these things to be far more expensive than they are. There are a number of additional accessories that you can pick up for your Switch 2. I've been using JSAUX Accessories for years at this point. My original Switch, my Steam Deck, now my Switch 2. They're not endorsing us, and we're certainly not sponsored by them. It's just one of those things that I like to bring products that I believe in to you. I hope any of this is helpful. If it was, maybe consider hitting that like and subscribe. I'm Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gamingtrend.com. Stay safe out there. We'll see you again real soon.